Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogreboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the new movie, The Fabelmans. So, this is Steven Spielberg's newest movie, and it's a semi-autobiographical movie about his childhood and how he got into filmmaking and stuff, but the characters' names are changed and stuff. The main character's name is Sammy, and him and his family's last name are the Fabelmans. But this movie is really good. Like I said, I don't want to spoil it because it is a brand new movie and it's not playing in a lot of theaters, I don't think, and it's not doing very well in the box office, so I'm trying to keep it spoiler free so people who haven't seen it don't get spoiled. But I gotta say, this movie was amazing. When I heard that Spielberg was doing a movie based on his childhood, I was super excited because I was like, that just sounds like an amazing idea and everything. And he did a really great job with this movie. The cast in here are all excellent. Gabriel Bell, who plays Sammy, which is based on Steven Spielberg, he's like a teenage version of Spielberg, is absolutely great. He once he comes into the movie, because it begins with him as a little boy, of course, and everything like you would kind of expect in this type of movie, and it shows him, it cuts to a few years later when he's older and everything, in his teen years and everything, but it shows like how he got interested in film and stuff at the very beginning from the very beginning of the movie and stuff, and it's very interesting. As somebody who has grown up loving movies, I've loved movies as long as I can really remember. I love to see Steven Spielberg's influence, though, because he's like my favorite movie director. So seeing like how he got his start and everything is really, really interesting to me and everything. I've seen a documentary on Spielberg and stuff, and saw him talk about his family and everything, and a lot of the stuff he talked about he added in here. He did change some of the stuff up for the movie and everything, I guess because he thought it just would make the movie better, or maybe it was too personal to put it in the movie for him, which I respect and everything. I love what he did with it. I think it was great, and you got some really great performances in here, especially Michelle Williams, who I think is going to win, or at least be nominated for Best Actress. I don't know if I can say she'll win, although I personally believe she deserves it if she does win, because she gave one of the best performances of the year for sure. I absolutely loved her in this movie. And then you got Paul Dano, who gave us a really awesome performance as the Riddler earlier this year. He's a really great character actor that's kind of underrated. He's finally starting to come around and get the recognition he deserves, and he's great in here too. Gives an Oscar-worthy performance. I don't know that I'd say that he deserves to win, though, but he at least is worthy of a nomination. There's been so many other great performances this year. I can't say that I think Paul Dano should win, but if he were to win, I wouldn't be mad because his performance is great. And then Seth Rogen is in here. He has a small role, and he's really good in here. His character is likable, but also not likable. When you see the movie, you'll know what I mean because of what he does in this movie and stuff. But he still is kind of a likable character, though. Couldn't help but kind of like him. Seth Rogen does a pretty good job, though. It's not groundbreaking performance or anything like that from him, but he's still really good in here. I just wish that he would have had a little bit more screen time, because I love Seth Rogen, and this was probably the best thing that he's been in years. So I did love the little bit we do get him, and he's in there for about half of the movie. I just wish he would have been in the second half a little bit more. It could have added more drama to the movie, but also he was trying to add stuff from his life too, and everything. I don't know how much they could have had him in there with it taking too much away from what his life was really like and stuff. The cinematography is great. Is once again done by Szymon Krasinski, I think is his name. He does a lot of the cinematography for most of Spielberg's movies, and it's once again great as expected. And John Williams' score is amazing. I wouldn't say it's one of his very best scores, or anything, but for what this movie needed and stuff, I think he did a really great job with the score. It fit the tone of the movie really well and everything. There were some really, really beautiful moments with the score and stuff, and especially in this, there's this one particular scene where Sammy is making his mom watch a movie and everything, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but the score in that scene is just absolutely beautiful and everything. And there's some really great moments in here too that I really loved. I just, like I said, I can't talk about it because I don't want to spoil the movie, but there's a lot of really great moments in this movie, and it's a long movie though. It's 2.5 hours, and it is a slow burn. It doesn't really build up to a big fight or anything like that. It's a smaller scale movie and everything, but by the time it gets to the end, it's pretty cool and everything. I really wish that they would do a sequel to focus on his full film career, because this movie was just more about his interest in movies and getting started into it. We didn't actually see him go to his film career, which that's not really ruining anything, because I think that Spielberg himself has even said that it's not focused on his film career. It's definitely worth watching, especially if you're a fan of movies in general. This is like a love letter to film and stuff, kind of like how Hugo was a love letter to film for Martin Scorsese. This is Steven Spielberg's love letter to film and filmmaking and stuff, and I love that. And as somebody who's been a big movie buff ever since I can remember, I've loved movies since I was at least 4 or 5 years old. Like I said, ever since I could remember, I've been into movies, and Spielberg has always been my favorite director. I've loved almost everything he's done. He has his weaker movies and stuff, but I don't think any of his movies are really bad. He's always one that I always look forward to his stuff and never really get disappointed with. I always kind of know what to expect. The one thing that did kind of surprise me on this movie is one thing that Spielberg often gets criticized for, which it doesn't really bother me. It's actually one of the things I love about his movies, is that he kind of has an overly sentimental themes to his movies sometimes and everything, and I figured this was going to be his most sentimental movie yet, and surprisingly it's not as overly sentimental as I expected it to be. It's still a really good movie, and there are a lot of things that I thought he did really well, like some things with his parents that happened in real life. He kept it in the story, but he also didn't try to paint either one of his parents to be bad people or anything like that. I thought that was kind of an interesting and cool take. I was curious how they were going to do that, because if you know anything about Spielberg and his family life growing up, you know, while his childhood wasn't terrible or anything, there were things that happened in his teen years and stuff, and this movie goes over it, but it doesn't do a lot with it. Now I thought but I think that the way he played it out worked. I think he didn't want to be disrespectful to either of his parents, and I think he did it in a respectful way. But all in all, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's really great. It has a great story, great cast, great themes, great music from John Williams, and it's just a really good time. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. Like I said, it is a slow burner, and it's 2.5 hours long, so if you're not really into slow burn movies and stuff, you might not like this, but I was never bored with it, and I had a lot of great entertainment out of it, and it was my most anticipated movie of the year, and I'm happy to say that it probably is my favorite movie of the year too. It really lived up to all my expectations. It didn't go over them like West Side Story did last year, which I had high hopes for that one, but it actually succeeded my expectations and was even better than I expected. This one was actually on the level of good that I expected. It's not Spielberg's very best movie. It's one of his best movies, but it's not his very best. I don't even know if I'd say it's in my top 10 favorites of his, because he has so many other movies that I like more than this, but it is a really great one, and I definitely would highly recommend it and everything, especially if you're into film and stuff. It's a really good look at one of the best filmmakers' interest in film and everything, and his love letter to film. It's really great and everything, and like I said, the performances are great too and everything, from Michelle Williams and Paul Dano especially, and I definitely would recommend this movie. So I'd say I'd give The Fabelmans a 9.5 out of 10.
Hey.
But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of The Fabelmans. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.